May 1453. Constantinople. The city has been under siege for weeks. The Ottoman army, tens of thousands of soldiers, artillery, massive cannons, continuous assaults. Beyond the walls, exhausted defenders, short on men, gunpowder, and time. And at that very moment, in the middle of the night, an event occurs inside the city that no one can explain. 10 modern special operations forces fighters suddenly appear in an abandoned warehouse. Fully equipped, armed, and in communication. They don't understand where they are. But the city around them is not the 21st century. The team quickly assembles. Radio communication is down. There are no satellites. GPS is blank. Visually, stone walls, torches, medieval armor. Within minutes, the fighters understand the most important thing: this is not a reenactment or a dream. This is the real besieged Constantinople. 1453, the last days of the Byzantine Empire. The enemy is the Ottoman army led by Mehmed II. The soldiers have no reinforcements, no evacuation, and no room for error. There are only 10 of them, against an entire empire. First contact occurs almost immediately. A Byzantine patrol appears on a narrow street. The armored men are shocked by the soldiers' appearance. Modern uniforms, weapons, night vision goggles, everything looks like magic. Through gestures and fragments of Latin and Greek, it becomes clear, the city is on the brink of collapse. The Ottomans are preparing a decisive assault. The SOF soldiers understand, if they want to survive, they will have to intervene. Not just hide, but change the course of history right now. The group commander makes a decision. Their main advantage is not numbers, but technology, tactics, and speed. They can't stop the entire army, but they can strike at key points. Artillery. Command posts. Logistics. Panic. A plan is formed in minutes. Division into pairs, clear objectives, minimal risks. The Byzantines regard this as a miracle. No one in the city has ever seen such discipline and composure. For the soldiers, it's just work. Even if the enemy is from another century. The first target is the Ottoman artillery. Enormous cannons, including the legendary Basilica, batter the walls day after day. At night, the soldiers emerge from the city through a secret passage. No one expects an attack with such precision. Silent shots, swift movements, precise coordination. The guards don't even have time to realize what's happening. In a matter of minutes, several key weapons are disabled. To the Ottomans, it looks like sabotage, but it's too swift and too precise to be the work of ordinary soldiers. In the morning, chaos erupts in the Ottoman camp. The cannons are silent. The commanders are furious. Suspicion falls on traitors, spies, and demonic forces. Mehmed II demands an explanation. No one can say how this happened. Meanwhile, inside Constantinople, the morale of the defenders soars. For the first time in weeks, hope appears. People whisper about steel warriors who have come from who knows where. But the SOF soldiers know this is only the beginning. The Ottomans adapt quickly. And the next step will be much more severe. The Ottoman army strengthens security, patrols, and introduces night watches. Any suspicious person is killed on sight. For the SOF soldiers, this means one thing: their work will become more difficult. Now they move on to the next stage, disrupting the command structure. The goal is to sow fear and uncertainty. Several targeted night operations, disappearing officers, exploding warehouses. Each blow is like a knife in the darkness. The Ottoman army is vast, but it doesn't understand what it's up against. However, time is working against them. Ammunition is limited. Supplies are low. Any loss is critical. One of the soldiers is wounded during the retreat. Modern medicine helps, but the conditions are medieval. Infections, filth, lack of sterility. The commander understands that this cannot continue for long. The final assault on the city lies ahead, and if they want to influence the outcome, they will have to risk everything in one decisive operation. Against an army already prepared to wipe Constantinople from the face of the earth. Preparations for the decisive operation are proceeding in complete silence. The target is Mehmed II himself or his immediate headquarters. Not to kill, but to disrupt the chain of command. If the army loses coordination during the assault, it will buy the city hours, perhaps even days. The soldiers are studying the terrain, routes, and guard habits. Everything is done manually, no drones, no satellites, only their eyes, experience, and cold calculation. They understand, this will be the most dangerous option. Not everyone may return. At night, the group moves out in small pairs. The Ottoman camp is enormous, fires, tents, thousands of soldiers. But therein lies its weakness: too much noise, too much overconfidence. The fighters move between the shadows, exploiting the terrain and the darkness. A few silent assassinations, and the path to the command sector is open. Inside the tent are maps, orders, officers. The attack occurs instantly. Communication between units collapses. Commanders disappear. No one understands what is happening or where the threat came from. By morning, the camp awakens in panic. Orders contradict each other. Some units prepare to assault, others are ordered to retreat. The army, which should act as a single mechanism, begins to crumble. Mehmed II remains alive, but now he knows, an unknown enemy is operating within his army. Not with numbers, but with skill. He orders the assault to be accelerated at any cost. If they wait, fear will eat away at the troops from within. Constantinople must fall immediately. The final assault begins. Thousands of Ottoman soldiers are marching toward the walls. Ladders, battering rams, screams. The ground trembles with their footsteps. Special forces soldiers occupy key defensive positions. They are deployed along the most dangerous axes. Every shot is precise. Every movement is calculated. For the Byzantines, it seems like supernatural intervention. Where the defenders were supposed to retreat, the attack falters. The Ottomans suffer heavy losses, unable to understand why their defense has suddenly become deadly effective. But their numerical superiority still makes itself felt. Wave after wave. Ammunition melts. Barrels heat up. One soldier covers the retreat and remains in position longer than planned. Explosion. Smoke. When he returns, he is wounded but alive. Losses become reality. This is no longer an abstract mission or an experiment in time. This is a fight for survival. And every passing hour increases the chance that one of them will not see the dawn. The Ottomans break through to one section of the wall. Close combat. Bladed weapons against modern soldiers. But even here, tactics are decisive. Narrow passages, crossfire, control of space. Several dozen soldiers stop where they were supposed to break through the defenses. This breaks the momentum of the offensive. The assault begins to falter. For the first time in the siege, the Ottoman army retreats, leaving the battlefield to the city's defenders. Inside Constantinople, something incredible begins. People understand, the city has held. For now. Bells are ringing. Soldiers who only yesterday were preparing to die now believe in victory. The emperor receives reports of 10 warriors who appeared at the most critical points and changed the course of the battle. For him, this is a sign. For the special forces, it's just a reprieve. They know, Mehmed will not retreat completely. He will regroup. And the next blow will be the last. That night, the group reassembles. Their condition is grave. Fatigue, wounds, lack of resources. The main question is discussed, whether to continue the intervention or try to survive and escape. But the answer is clear. If they leave, the city will fall. If they stay, there's still a chance. The commander decides to go all the way. The final plan, destroy a key Ottoman ammunition depot. One explosion could change everything. Before leaving, no one says a word. Everyone understands the cost of a mistake. This isn't an operation with evacuation and rewards. This is a story in which their names won't be in textbooks. They step out into the darkness, knowing they might not return. But if the plan works, Constantinople will get another chance. And perhaps an entirely different fate. The Ottoman ammunition depot is located far from the walls, heavily guarded. It's the army's logistical heart. Gunpowder, cannonballs, supplies for the artillery and the assault. If it disappears, the siege will be pointless. The soldiers approach their objective in the dead of night. The weather worsens, and rain begins. This is a plus for them. Step by step, they bypass the posts, taking advantage of the darkness and the sound of the downpour. There's no room for error here, one shout, and the entire camp will rise to the alarm. The infiltration is almost perfect until one of the sentries notices movement. There's a brief skirmish, but the sound carries too far. The alarm is raised. Now there's no time. The soldiers plant the explosives faster than planned. Gunfire, torches, shouts. Ottoman soldiers are converging from all sides. The retreat turns into a run under fire. One of the soldiers covers the group, staying behind. He realizes he might not make it in time, but he continues firing, buying seconds for the others. The explosion occurs moments later. A huge column of fire and smoke tears through the night. A wave covers part of the camp. The depot disappears. Gunpowder, cannonballs, supplies, everything is destroyed. This is a catastrophe for the Ottoman army. The artillery is left without ammunition. An unsupported assault becomes almost impossible. Those who witness the explosion panic and speak of divine wrath. The commanders lose control. At that moment, it becomes clear, the tide of the siege has turned. The group does not return in full force. The loss is confirmed. The silence is oppressive. There is no time for mourning. In the morning, it becomes clear that the Ottoman army is retreating from the walls. Not forever, but for a long time. They need time, resources, and order. Constantinople gains a respite it has never had in real history. The emperor understands, the city was saved by people he will be unable to explain to either chroniclers or posterity. Days pass. The Ottoman army retreats to a safe distance. The siege is effectively broken. Europe gains time to react. Reinforcements, a fleet, aid, everything that was lacking in reality now becomes possible. History begins to take a different path. Byzantium does not fall in May 1453. And the name of Mehmed II does not become a symbol of the fall of Constantinople, at least not yet. The SOF soldiers understand that their presence disrupts the flow of time. But they cannot return. Their technology is gradually failing. Their ammunition is running low. They become simply well-trained soldiers in an alien era. Some decide to remain in the city as instructors, imparting tactics and discipline to the defenders. Others retreat into the shadows, realizing that any unnecessary intervention could lead to unpredictable consequences. Years later, the legends of the 10 warriors from the future become mythological. Some consider them angels. Some, war demons. Still others, messengers of God. Strange references to battles where small units stop thousands appear in chronicles. Future historians will never find a definitive explanation for why Constantinople stood firm when it should have fallen. But that very moment will mark the divergence of two different worlds. And now the main question. If just 10 modern fighters could change the outcome of one of the most important events in history, what would have happened if there had been more? Or if something similar had happened in a different era? History seems unchangeable until someone comes along who knows the future, knows how to fight differently, and is not afraid to fight to the end. Sometimes, 10 men, and 1 chance, are enough to save an empire.